So you think you're ready to be an advanced or expert player? I see. Well, this guide is just for you. Now, I'm going to assume that you've watched my beginner and intermediate guide. So this is the advanced or expert guide. So let's go. Jakey, why do I have to watch this guide if I've watched the other ones? Well, viewer, this will be a complete guide because we're going to be killing every single boss. Yeah. And we're also going to be building the base that I did in my base video if you haven't seen that. Firstly, we're going to go over your game settings because this is very important. The most important one is turning off lag compensation. At this point, you probably want to be dodging enemies pretty well, and you can't do that if lag compensation is turned on. You can also change your backpack settings to integrated rather than separated. That makes your backpack appear under your inventory rather than the side of your screen. Now, creating our world, we're going to use default settings. Caves are on. We're going to change the starting resource variety to classic so we don't get twiggy trees. And my client mods are these. They're simply quality of life mods and muting annoying sounds and such. A link to all of these mods can be found in the description. Now, as for your character selection, I'll be choosing Wilson. And the reason for this is that you can use whatever character you want, because if Wilson could do it, any character can do it. So choose whatever character you want to have fun with. Although for a run like this, the top tier characters, in my opinion, are Wanda, WX, and Wolfgang. Anyway, you've spawned in. You want to grab 2 flint, and you want eventually a stack of grass and twigs. I went down the first sinkhole I found to grab light bulbs, but I forgot to grab the light bulbs. But it's fine. We'll find another one. So the first biome we're going to be looking for is the Mosiac biome. The Mosiac biome is always connected to the starter biome. So you basically want to explore the edge of the starter biome until you find the entrance to the Mosiac biome. Here's an example of a few map generations of where the Mosiac biome spawns, just to give you an idea. And we will be talking about world generation in this guide a little bit. So by the end of day 1, hopefully you have a stack of grass, twigs, and at least 2 flint. And then once you find the Mosiac biome, you're going to want to mine 20 or 25 gold. The reason for 25 is you have a stack of gold for later, then 5 gold to make a science machine and an alchemy engine. Now the next thing you need is pig houses. So this means you need to find any forest. So a pig king forest, an extra deciduous forest, any forest with spiders in them, literally any of them, because all of those forests will have pig houses. Now, because finding these forests is so important, I'm going to describe what they look like now and show you what they look like. So first, you have 3 forests which will definitely generate in the world. These are the Mandrake, the Pig King, and the Moonstone forests. So the Mandrake forest usually doesn't generate on the end of the map, but this is what it looks like. It's a big patch of forest turf with a little bit of green turf where you'll find the mandrakes, and a mini savanna. This mini savanna will always have at least 1 beefalo. This will have spiders and pigs in it, and it might have the terrarium. Next is Pig King. Pig King's an odd one because he can generate on the end of the map. He can also generate very close to the starter biome or somewhere in between. Now, sometimes the cobble path will lead you to Pig King, but that's not always a guarantee. I would say it's about 50% of the time. It's a massive orangey deciduous forest with a patch of green where the Pig King is. And next to Pig King, you'll find Glommer's statue and a bunch of pig houses that are guaranteed to generate. And in this biome, you'll find catcoons for easy big meat and a variety of mushrooms. Next is the Moonstone forest. This forest will almost always generate at the end of a branch on the map. Usually it connects to one of the deserts and it'll be behind it, but sometimes it won't be. You can tell the Moonstone forest apart because it's a big forest with a green patch with a Mactusk camp in that green patch. This is your only guaranteed Mactusk camp. It also has the Moonstone rock in the forest somewhere. This again has spiders, pigs, and it might also have the terrarium. Now the next 2 forests are optional. An optional biome is a biome that won't always generate. Some of these biomes are guaranteed, but some are rolled randomly. The Pig Village biome. This is a forest which is very distinguishable because it has a green patch with pig houses and it has a mini swamp inside of it. It also might have the terrarium and has spiders. And last is probably the least helpful forest, the extra deciduous forest. This is an optional biome. Usually there's not a lot of pig houses, if any, in there. And it can lead you on thinking that you found Pig King, but you actually didn't find Pig King. Now I found the Pig King's forest. This is good because the Pig King has guaranteed pig houses to spawn all around him. So we're starting off quite fast, but we're going to hammer down the pig houses, and right as the pig house gets smashed, you can actually get 1 hit on the pig before he attacks you. I would say make a log suit, but this is the advanced guide where like you should be kiting like pretty flawlessly, but if not, you can make a log suit. Make sure to leave no survivors because we want 2 stacks of boards, 2 stacks of cut stone, and at least 20 pigskin. If you need light during the night, just set a tree on fire, no problem. The reason why we're hammering the pig houses is of course to skip cutting loads of wood and mining a bunch of rocks to make cut stone and boards ourselves. So now we can speedrun making the alchemy engine, at which point you want to make a handbat, a football helmet, a lantern from the 2 light bulbs you grabbed from being in the caves, and then you're going to hammer your science machine and pre-build it for later, and then hammer the alchemy engine and pre-build it to save it for later. You can see me utilizing the quick crafting bar, and I'll show you how to do this real quick because it speeds up the crafting time. In the settings you can change how many quick crafting tabs you have. I only have 3. To add an item to the crafting tab, you simply click on that item in the crafting menu, then click on an empty slot on your crafting bar and it will get added to it. And here's my crafting tabs: page 1, here's page 2, and here's page 3. All of these recipes are just common recipes I use in the early and late game. And then I made an oopsie whoopsie because I forgot to make a shovel, because we are going to be digging up mushrooms while we're exploring until we make the base. Mushrooms count as vegetables in the crock pot, so we're going to be using them for pierogi later. Someone joined. Oh, what the hell? I forgot to make I forgot to make it local only. Stay out, dweebs. So we found Dragonfly Desert. We may as well top up on gold while we're here since we're walking past gold rocks. And some ice hounds. That ice hound set piece is actually going to become our pets because little did I know at the moment, but we're going to be basing somewhat near here. We did find a clockwork knight, which is quite fortunate because we get some gears then. Although if you don't find any clockworks, don't worry because we're going to be going on a ruins rush, so we'll get gears anyway. Anyway, I jumped through this wormhole in the Dragonfly and it takes us to the Oasis and triple Mactusks. That's pretty good, so we might base near this wormhole. Now, the only downside to basing in Dragonfly Desert is because you might get a flaming tumbleweed going through your base, but you know, we'll learn from our mistakes later on. Very subtle. Anyway, the last thing we need is reeds, so we found the swamp and acquired the reeds. How many reeds do you need? Well, you want 8 for a bird cage, and then I want to make 3 pan flutes eventually, so I got an extra 15, so 23 in total. And then we do need to kill beefalo because we do need a beefalo saddle. So I like to get at least 12 beefalo fur. That's enough for a saddle and a beefalo hat. Finding a living tree in one of the green forests you've been in, that will be very good. Toasty, because we need charcoal. And then I found the cobblestone path, so I started exploring it, so that we eventually found Chester. Finding him kind of late on day 6, but the inventory space is welcome. In fact, for the amount of gathering we're doing, we actually do need Chester. We're gonna go on a very quick tangent about Chester real quick. I wouldn't try explicitly looking for Chester, but I'm gonna show you all of his spawn locations so that if you recognize them, you should explore them because Chester is probably there. This is the first spawn. This is gonna be a Chester's eye bone at the end of a cobblestone path near a bunch of molehills. Now this is actually a biome called like the molehill biome or something. There's just a bunch of moles at the end of it, and Chester will be near where the moles are. These 2 spawns are kind of the same, but it's basically he'll just be on a cobblestone road, and at the same time he'll be near the stagehand, or one or the other. He'll be near the stagehand, slightly off of the cobblestone road. And here we have 2 that might look similar but are actually completely different. So if there's a cobblestone road going through your main big swamp biome, then Chester is almost definitely there, because the cobblestone road doesn't very often pass through that big swamp. But if it does, Chester is probably there. This might look like a swamp, but it's actually the pig village biome, and this is the mini swamp inside of it. So if you have a pig village biome with a mini swamp, Chester might be inside the mini swamp if he spawned in this biome. So TLDR, if you see a stagehand, a cobbled path, or a mini swamp, then look out for Chester. Chop down cheese from that toasted forest until you have 46 charcoal exactly. If you pick a mandrake at daytime, it will die immediately. But to speed up the animation, you can hold left control and just click on it as soon as it picks out of the ground to kill it immediately so you can pick it up faster. As you can see, I've been killing a lot of spiders. You want an entire stack of silk and we'll need more later. And also this is the mandrake forest of course, and I found the terrarium here, so there you go. Now unluckily, I only got 2 mandrakes. I've never seen a world with less than 2 and more than 4 mandrakes in the mandrake forest. So you're always going to have at least 2, which means in the world you can have up to 3 pan flutes at the start. Now we're setting up base. This is what we want the base to eventually look like roughly, so let's get turfing. Stop, I hope you didn't build your base yet, because now we're talking about map orientation. So which direction should you be pointing before you build your base? Now every time you join the game, go into the caves, come out of the caves, your map will be reset to point north. You might think this is good because north is up, but this makes all of your tiles diagonal, so it looks a bit weird. So I like to have my map orientation the default but then I press E once, so that I'm pointing northeast rather than north. This is how I build all of my bases, with the map facing northeast. Also, set pieces spawn at a consistent rotation, so something like the birchnut trees in the oasis, there will always be a horseshoe shape if you're pointed northeast. We're just marking out where we're going to put turf later, so it's just for organization for now. But anyway, let's focus on this crockpot placement. Now look very carefully. We have 4 tiles marked out, and we're gonna go to the top of the top left tile, then go to the middle, and then go down by 2 little notches. Then we're gonna do the same on the right side, and then in the middle to the side, as closest to the center as possible, we're gonna build 2 adjacent crockpots, and then the opposite of the top is gonna be for the bottom. So go to the bottom of the bottom left and go up 2 notches, and the same for the right. And then just put a fridge right in the center. And of course, put all your food in there before it starts spoiling. Now, I like to build a chest just next to my crockpots. This is where I put bundled up food, jelly beans, edible things that don't spoil, so I can put them in a chest, and like pigskin, like things that can get eaten by animals that I don't want to get eaten by animals. Then finally build your bird cage. I hope you are collecting seeds, and a bird trap. Catch a bird, throw that in there, and then throw down a farm plot. Again, if you're unsure of the placement of some of these areas, just check the ultimate base setup image in the description, or the video that I've already done on base setup. And our very first hound attack, this should be easy peasy, even though my handbat is stale. In the early game, I use handbats until they actually spoil. I made a beefalo bell because we will need our own beefalo at some point to transport some items, but I don't actually get it until spring. Anyway, let's cook up all of our food into pierogies. You're going to need between 10 and 20 pierogies depending how much you can dodge. And what are we dodging, you might ask? Well, we're actually going to be dodging Dragonfly. If you're not confident with the amount of pierogies you have, then go kill some hounds and spiders for more meat, and you can grab cactus as vegetables and make more pierogies with those. Remember, a pierogi is 1 meat, 1 egg, half a vegetable, so a mushroom, and then 1 of anything, like a berry. We actually stumbled across the deer in late autumn, which is good. We'll remember that we found these, and I forgot to grab the pamphlet from Glommer's statue, so we went back and grabbed that. Here's an easy way to kill bats. When they circle you, if you just wait until one of them screams, that means they're about to attack you, or that one that screamed is about to attack you. So then you can go in and kill it before it actually hits you. I'm only going to say this now and not for the rest of the time, but if your lantern is low, or your miner hat, or whatever light source you're using, make sure you grab the light bulbs when you need them. Now take a look at the inventory. We have 24 walls, if you want to be safer. Pay attention to how I placed these signs. Go to the corner of a tile, then go up 1 and across 1, and place it there. This has to be placed like that, otherwise you can't fit 2 walls either side. And the reason why I'm putting these signs here is because the larvae will not see these signs as obstacles, so we'll try to go through them and get stuck. So now we have 3 points where the larvae can get stuck. The lava pond and both of the signs, and they will try to go around the walls. Anyway, let's start the Dragonfly fight. To start, we're going to go on the path and then approach Dragonfly and then hit him. And that way you might be able to hit him before he hits you so you can dodge. Now before any big boss fight, make sure you make a new handbat or you have enough weapons to kill it. So I made a fresh handbat. Now for dodging, what you can do is 6 hits, then step back a little bit, then right as Dragonfly starts his attack animation, step back more to get out of its range. Or if you're really fast, you can do 7 hits then dodge, but it's a very tight window and sometimes doesn't work. The reason we dodge like this is because if you just run away after hitting 6 times, sometimes the timing won't line up and Dragonfly will start moving before they start their attack animation. That's bad. If she starts moving before her attack animation starts, that means when she does start her attack animation, she'll continue moving forward, making it very hard to kite unless you have a lot of speed bonus, which we don't have. Cutting forward to when I start kiting correctly, we do 6 hits and run away. Now I am staying on the path to try get a bit of a speed bonus to make it easier to dodge, but it's not completely necessary. So we got Dragonfly to low enough health that she's going to start spawning her first set of larvae. Now just get your booty behind the wall and try to stay directly behind the lava pond. As you saw there, I scooted around that corner and the larvae got stuck behind the sign. Again, that's because they don't see the sign as an obstacle, so they'll try to go through it. Same with the lava pond. Now let's go talk about the larvae pathing real quick. Here's a picture of a Dragonfly arena, and as you can see, I've put 2 signs either side of a lava pool and then built walls in one straight line. So imagine if this setup will work, all we have to do is draw lines between me, so Wendy in this case, and all of the other ponds. Let's see what happens. The lines represent the larvae's line of sight, so they're trying to get to you and they're going to try to take the most direct path between where they are and where you are. So all of the ponds except one are going to be traveling directly through the lava pond in front of me. The lava pond all the way to the right, you can see the line of sight is closer to the sign than it is the lava pond, meaning if the sign wasn't there, there's a possibility the larvae would try to go around the walls because that would be faster than trying to get through the lava pond. So I hope that explained it. back to the fight, you can see there's a larvae all the way on the right that just crashed into the sign. So if that sign wasn't there, it probably would have tried going around the wall rather than going to the lava pond. Once Dragonfly has spawned all the larvae, he's going to come back to you and you won't be able to dodge the attack, so just tank one hit and then carry on doing 6 hits, then dodge. But be on guard and get ready to use the pan flute. To be extra safe when Dragonfly enrages, simply walk away until he does the pound attack and then put him to sleep. So the thing that causes Dragonfly to enrage is when all of her larvae die. But sometimes this can happen, where her last larvae dies and then she just goes and spawns more larvae. If this happens, it just saves you a pan flute use, but it makes the fight last a little bit longer because you have to wait for Dragonfly to get back here. Now don't stand too close to the lava pond because all the heat from the larvae and the lava ponds can make you overheat quite quickly. So stay like 2 or 3 tiles back, but not too far away. If you're too far away from Dragonfly's arena, Dragonfly will just despawn. So after running away like 3 or 4 times, my Dragonfly finally enrages. So the safest option is let him do the pound attack, then blow the pan flute. Unfortunately, I was a little too close to Chester, and Chester died, and I got set on fire. Being set on fire is fine, but if you're too close to Dragonfly when they do the pound attack, that pound attack can do hundreds of damage, so yeah, run away and just keep running it until you see Dragonfly do the attack. And then keep fighting like normal once you put him to sleep and then woke him back up. And if you don't put Dragonfly to sleep, she stays enraged. Fighting enraged Dragonfly is basically just like 2 times harder. She hits harder, she moves faster, she sets you on fire, and she makes you take fire damage just from being near her. So skipping towards the end of the fight, because there's nothing more to explain other than have ingredients to make football helmets with you, so that when Dragonfly's off spawning larvae, you can make sure you have 2 or 3 football helmets available in case you take a lot of damage. It's good to kill Dragonfly before winter for the scaled furnace, but we're also doing it for the gems, because next thing we're doing is a ruins rush with all these gems. So let's take a look at the inventory. We've got 5 football helmets, the rest of our pierogies, so 14, 2 golden pickaxes, 1 hammer, and the ingredients to make another handbat, and we're bringing in the handbat that we used to kill Dragonfly. We also have nightmare fuel, 3 living logs, and the orange, green, and yellow gem that we got from Dragonfly. I also have a chest pre-built, so we can put that in the ruins to put our gems in so they don't get smashed by earthquakes. Now make sure you go out of your way to kill as many nightmares as possible, because you will run out of nightmare fuel. I'm telling you now. So if you see some nightmares, just kill them. Get that nightmare fuel. And you can watch this clip just to see how to kite multiple nightmare creatures at a time. And this is something you're going to need if you're going to go into the ruins, especially if it's nightmare phase. The safest way to kite 2 Terrorbeaks is bait out both of their attacks, then get a couple of hits in. And if your timing is right and you have lag compensation off, you can do an attack, then dodge, then get in another attack before they can teleport. Also, when you dodge then attack, hold the attack button so that if case they teleport on top of you, you'll get another hit and it will force them to teleport away from you. Will we find Hutch? That's the real question. Terrible. Oh my goodness, guys, no way, we found Hutch. Oh my goodness, we're too good at the game. Woo. So finding Hutch isn't a complete necessity. In fact, he's not super good in the ruins because he'll die to everything and monkeys can steal from him. So I would only leave with Hutch if it's the nightmare phase. Therefore, the shadow monkeys won't steal from Hutch. Normal monkeys do steal from Hutch though. As for finding the ruins, basically just find a muddy biome and then explore the muddy biomes until you find lichen. I have a whole video dedicated to finding the ruins, so go watch that. Link in the description. But TLDR is find a muddy biome and then find lichen. That video will also explain how to effectively loot the ruins. But basically, stay out of combat as much as possible, hammer broken clockworks if it's safe, and mine all the statues you can safely. Now for this run, we will need to kill a few bishops because we do need some purple gems. But let's not worry about that until later. For now, we want a total of 3 yellow gems, 3 green gems, and then 4 orange gems. Now because this is the ruins, you're going to be dealing with lots of nightmare creatures, so here I've just sped up a clip of how you fight a bunch of shadow creatures without getting hit. At least I don't think I get hit. Now we found the full science station. If you don't find the full science station, don't worry about it because we're going to be fixing a broken one later. But the full science station will have some nightmare creatures to kill for nightmare fuel and 2 bishops for purple gems. We're going to make the Thulsite medallion. This shows us where Ancient Guardian is. Since Ancient Guardian got buffed, his drop table is amazing. So before we craft anything, we definitely want to take out Ancient Guardian because he might give us stuff which we would have crafted anyway, which just saves us resources. This is my station now. So here I found a broken science station that's far away from any naturally spawning clockworks except these 2, and it's far away from nightmare lights. So when we come back down here later in the run, we're just going to use this station. We're going to dump all of our stuff here, including Hutch, after killing the knight and the bishop. To kite knights, you can actually do 3 hits, but you can't just hold F to go towards them because they kite away. So you have to actually walk really close to them, then do 3 hits, then dodge. So we're going to put up the chest, put all of the gems and Thulsite in to make room for all of Ancient Guardian's loot, and leaving Hutch there, and then we're going to go through the maze. Now, I personally don't think it's worth it to loot every single chest in the maze, but if you happen to be going past a chest, you may as well go and open it and see what you're going to get, because you might get gems and Thulsite sometimes. Was not worth it. There are some chests like this that look like they're on webs. You can actually walk on the corner and not trigger the spiders. Also, if there's webs all over the pathway, just walk on the edge of the web and you won't trigger the spiders. Anyway, we made a mag earlier. Anyway, we made a Magiluminescence using one of our yellow gems. This is to give us a slight speed buff against Ancient Guardian, which will come in very handy because doing it without any speed bonus, it's doable, but it's a little bit harder. As you can tell, we did drop our old Handbat and make a new one with the ingredients that we brought with us to make a fresh new Handbat, so Ancient Guardian dies a little faster. So the idea here is to make Ancient Guardian charge a really long way directly into an obstacle. This will make him be stunned for a longer time. The direction in which Ancient Guardian charges is he'll charge directly at you right before he starts moving. So the idea is you stand in front of a pillar or an obstacle, let him charge into it, and right as he starts moving, you move out of the way. Nothing more to say until we move to 6,000 health. This is where he enters phase 2, where we have 2 more attacks. The first is he will occasionally spawn shadow tentacles out from him, and you just have to look at the floor to make sure there's not a shadow tentacle on you, and just make sure you have armor. You can hear the tentacles when they spawn, so that's when you just need to keep an eye out for where they are. And when Ancient Guardian hits one of the main pillars, he drops rocks onto the ground, which you can use to stun him. One other attack he didn't do during this fight is where Ancient Guardian will try to jump in front of you, and if you just keep moving in a straight line away from Ancient Guardian, you'll dodge it. If you dodge it, he'll get stunned. If you don't dodge it, you'll get hit and he won't get stunned. Kabam. And what do we get? Huh! Oh, Starkle. Whoa, so much stuff. So Ancient Guardian's loot is like always good because you always get a staff, you always get gems, you always get Thulsite, like it's all just good. So no matter what you get, this is what we're gonna want to make before we leave. So here's the shopping list. You want to leave with 1 Magiluminescence, 2 Starcrawler's staffs, 1 or 2 deconstruction staffs, 1 construction amulet, at least 2 or 3 Thulsite crowns, and 1 or 2 Thulsite bodies. And to make that Thulsite armor, you're gonna need to use 6 Thulsite to repair your science station. And you can also use a construction amulet to make that Thulsite armor so it costs you less Thulsite and less nightmare fuel. If you can't make all of this, don't worry, because we're going to be coming back here at some point anyway, so this isn't the last chance to make everything. The gems and Thulsite that is only usable in the ruins, we're going to leave here. There's no sense in bringing it back with us, but we are going to bring back all of the surface gems, so purple, blue, red, frazzled wires, gears, and we're going to be leaving the ancient key that we got from Ancient Guardian next to that station. We don't need to bring that back to the cave entrance yet. Now my hutch here is actually empty, which is a good thing because otherwise the monkeys would steal things from Hutch and it just becomes a pain because that means you have to attack the monkeys. If you're leaving the ruins while it's not nightmare phase, make sure you don't have anything in Hutch because the monkeys will steal from him. Only about 3 days until winter. Well, you don't think we're done, do you? No. We're gonna go find the Lunar Island. Now to travel to Lunar Island, we're gonna need to predict the world generation and we need wood. Also, the goats are asleep right next to me, so I'm gonna kill them while they're sleeping. We will be setting up an automatic goat farm later on in the run, but you can kill them for meat as well and the chance of horns. Alright boys, where's Lunar Island? So yeah, because this map is so big over here, makes me think that maybe the room has to be over here. I don't know, let's find out. Let's go boys. To get off the mainland, we're using a wooden ore, but as soon as you see a driftwood piece, pick it up and make a driftwood ore. It's substantially stronger than a normal wooden ore. If you don't see any driftwood pieces, make sure to chop down a driftwood tree on the Lunar Island once you get there. Oh my goodness, Lunar Island, woo! I'm too good at the game! Alright, pause, where was it? So the map orientation is that. Yo, what the hell? I should have listened to chat. It was bottom right the whole time. Alright, let's go, Chester. Time to loot this bad boy up. Let's go through a quick lesson of trying to locate Lunar Island. Here's a fully revealed map. Can you tell me where Lunar Island might be? Take your guess. Alright, here it is. Now, how can we predict that Lunar Island was going to be there? There are 2 what we'll call end biomes. These are biomes that both exist on the end of a branch. So in this example, we have the Pig King biome and the Moonstone biome. These biomes make almost a circle, except part of the circle was cut off, and that is the Lunar Island. The Moonstone Forest and the Pig King biome both have very clean cuts which point toward the Lunar Island. One more quick example. I'll give you 3 seconds. Where do you think Lunar Island is? 1, 2, 3. Too late. This is where it is. Can you tell why? I'll tell you why. Circle. And straight edges on the Dragonfly Desert and the swamp. Right, anyway, back to the run. Now, I am a big kelp fan. That's not a sport team, that's kelp from the Lunar Island. You can see kelp on the beach around the Lunar Island. There's also kelp on the archipelago islands, which are the little islands near the Lunar Island. I am digging up the rock fruit bushes just as an example, because you can gather rock fruit if you like them. I personally do not like using rock fruits, and I don't use rock fruits for the entirety of this run. Let's learn how to kite this boat shadow creature. Its range is just under half of your boat, so you just bait out an attack and then just keep swinging, because unlike other shadow creatures, this shadow creature's teleport animation takes forever, so you can get like 4 hits on it. You usually only have to kite it 2 or 3 times before it dies. Bottles will randomly spawn around you while you're sailing in the ocean. Hopefully you find one, because then once you read it, it reveals to you where Pearl will be, and we'll need to know where she is for later. Anyway, it's the night before winter, so we're going to put down a Starcrawler's staff while we deal with these hounds before we head back to make sure our thermal stone is warm. By the way, we built a thermal stone before we left for the Lunar Island, I forgot to say. Oh, not again. These moonrock pengals are aggressive and will just attack you without any warning. So yeah, keep your distance away from them. Anyway, winter's come and we've arrived back at the Moonstone Forest. So we're gonna kill this Mactusk first, even though we have a triple Mactusk biome, because we're gonna want about 3 walking canes in total. But we have like a few winters before we need those 3 walking canes, so you don't have to get them in your first winter. Now I will mention that putting a Starcrawler's staff in your base is usually safe as long as you have a Flingomatic, but it's especially unsafe when you don't have a Flingomatic and you're in the Dragonfly Desert, because the Dragonfly Desert has tumbleweeds. If a tumbleweed tumbles next to your Starcrawlers, it gets set on fire and could potentially set your base on fire. Right, I don't know why I'm attacking Mactusks at night, but basically the strategy for Mactusks is you could use an ice staff, but they kind of fixed it so that you couldn't stunlock Mactusks. So I would revert back to the old strategy of simply chasing him until he gets so far away from his house that he'll turn around and start walking back to it. So basically, just ignore the hounds and just keep chasing the big Mactusk. Here's a rough diagram to show you how the Mactusks work. As soon as the Mactusk walks into de-aggro range, so too far away from its house, it will de-aggro you and just walk all the way back to its house, giving you the opportunity to kill it. Though when he first spots you, he'll do an aggro animation where you can get a few hits in while he's in that animation, but otherwise, yeah, you have to chase him. I don't save his blow dart, so I just use the blow dart to kill the mini Mactusk, so to get some free big meat. And you probably know, but once you want to warm up in winter, just light a tree on fire. It's very cheap and very fast. Now, I've been burning through pigskin with these football helmets, so it's time to get an infinite football helmet, being the Eye of Terror mask. So using the terrarium, I've spawned the Eye of Terror. If you haven't found the terrarium already, go check any of your dark forests. So that's the Mandrake Forest, Pig Village, or Moonstone Forest. It will be there somewhere. And so the Eye of Terror, all he does is when he winds up his dash animation, that's when he chooses which way he's going to dash, and he'll just dash straight towards you. So you just have plenty of time to move out of the way. Don't need any speed bonuses for him, although it would make it easier. Then once he hits phase 2, he dashes in succession, and he dashes a little bit faster. He does also spawn minions, and in the second phase, he spawns 2 minions at a time rather than just 1. He also has a ground slam attack where he bites the floor and does area of effect damage all around him. Anyway, the night is over, therefore the Eye of Terror despawns until the next night. Oh, and the claw sack is here. Nice. Nice! Ooh. Claws isn't guaranteed to spawn until day 24, so that's when I usually search for him and the deer. And since we're close, let's give all the frazzled wires to Pig King and we're going to pick up the gold. Don't worry about picking up all the gold because we're not going to use it all, but we'll pick up like 4 stacks for now. We touched the terrarium before coming out here, so we're going to quickly finish off the Eye of Terror, and bam, we now have an infinite helmet, as long as we feed it. So if you don't know, the eye mask is basically a rechargeable football helmet. You can feed it food to recharge it, but if it hits 0% durability, it breaks, so you can't be too reckless with it. Now, big warning, if you're gonna fight claws, don't have any insulation, meaning if you're Wilson, shave your beard, because when he uses his Fire Deer's overheating attack, you stay overheated for a lot longer than as if you didn't have a beard. So I realized that and then shave. Anyway, let's explain how to kite claws like a pro. Pay attention to his attack pattern. He does a melee attack, which is 2 swipes. You can do 4 or 5 hits, then he'll do another melee attack. Then you can do another 4 or 5 hits, then he'll do a magical deer attack. If he uses the Fire Deer, you can get an extra 3 or 4 hits in. If he uses the Ice Deer, you can only get like 1 more hit in and then you have to move. Now to dodge the deer attacks, what I like to do is wait until the last second right before the casts finish, and then I run behind claws so that I can start attacking him really fast. The timing is different between the Fire Deer and the Ice Deer because they just have longer and shorter casting times. So the Ice Deer's casting time is quite short, whereas the Fire Deer doesn't do anything until the very last second when he spawns the lava pool on top of you. Now check my positioning against claws. I am directly opposite to where he is standing. This is important because his deer will stay exactly adjacent of Claus in the context of which way he's facing. Meaning if he faces north, his deer will be on his west and east side. This is important because if you don't stay exactly opposite from Claus, then one of the deer will just melee attack you. Anyway, once Claus reaches halfway through phase 1, he'll call in 2 Krampus. You don't need any speed bonus to kite these Krampus, as you can see, but it is very awkward. So what you can do is just bring a pan flute and put everything to sleep and kill them one at a time. On the advanced run! Very cool! 1% chance by... Woo! We're too good! Woo! There it is! I'm too good. I'm too good. So a Krampus sack from a Krampus is only 1% chance, so that was kind of lucky. But hey, we're advanced gamers, so we deserve it. Anyway, once you defeat phase 1, phase 2 begins. Now the attack pattern is exactly the same, except Claus will have an extra attack where he'll pounce. And you can see that I pulled out my Magiluminescence. You don't need a Magiluminescence, but it does make it a whole lot easier. So the trick to dodging his pounce, if you're not too confident, you can just run very far away before he does the pounce, and then you'll dodge it. Or you can wait for just right before he pounces and move away with enough speed bonus at the last second, and you'll dodge it. Doing it this way means you get a few more hits in. If you're kiting fast enough, so you're activating Claus's attacks fast enough, the attack pattern will be pounce, melee, melee, pounce, magic attack. Sometimes his attack pattern will be pounce, melee, magic attack, pounce, and then it will go back to the first pattern. Since all of his attacks just have a cooldown and that determines what gets fired out first, you'll just get a hang of what you're going to predict is next, but that's a general rule of those 2 patterns. He also occasionally does this scream, which is just 3 hits. I'll take the Krampus sack back to base. Maybe a Krampus sack? No. No Krampus sack. Probably really bad. Hey, it's halfway through winter. It's better late than never. Better place that scaled furnace. Should I use Krampus sack? Yes. No. Let me just show the recording. So you see, they also 90% of them said yes. Well, that's that. I guess I'm using the Krampus sack for the rest of the run. Woohoo! So you can also kill Mactusks at night with this strategy. If you rush in there and kill one of the hounds, there's a chance that the Mactusk might come out when you first hit the hound, and then the second hit will kill the hound and freeze the Mactusk if he's close enough. Doesn't always work, but hey, you can do it if you want. Now we will need a potato eventually, and since potatoes grow well in winter, we're gonna plant some seeds now and hope that some of them are a potato. Now we're chopping down dead trees because we really desperately want some tree guards. 3 gears! And my gears. But after chopping like 100 trees, we didn't get any tree guards. Anyway, let's plant all the Pinecones in a dead straight line because we're going to use Deerclops to run them over. Deerclops' hitbox is very small, so you need to put the trees in a line to make it easier for him to run them over. And now we're stealing turf from various set pieces to put in my base. And you can't really see the floor yet because it's still winter, but during spring, we'll see how beautiful my base is. We're also finally stealing grass tufts and saplings to plant in the base so we have grass and twigs. Starving and don't starve! This is... the whole point of the game. Now we're going to grab some cactus because it's time for Deerclops. On the night of day 30 in your first winter is when Deerclops will attack. Now keep this in your mind. I just put a Starclaw staff in the middle of my base. Yes. Now you might realize I always build a sign to attract Deerclops, so let me explain how Deerclops actually spawns and why we put the sign down. So in this example, let's look at this mini-map. I'm stood at the edge of a biome. Now where will Deerclops spawn? Deerclops will spawn somewhere outside of your screen range around you in a circle. But in this instance, because we're stood against the map, he has to spawn in front of us because he can't spawn on the sea. He also spawns on the same landmass that you're standing on. As soon as Deerclops spawns, he's going to seek out the closest structure to him for him to go smash. That's why we have the sign in front of us, because he'll spawn, see the sign, and then go to the sign. This way he won't walk off and you won't lose him. So after the last one, he then spawns in. There he is. And he's going to go for this. Oh no, he's going for the sign. Interesting. Good job, Flopsy. And as soon as you get close to him, he'll aggro onto you, which is all good. Have him run over your trees. You'll see that I'm walking past about 6 trees, and then I'm going in between the trees. This is just to keep Deerclops in line perfectly with the trees so that he actually runs them over. And the reason we're only skipping 6 trees at a time is because if Deerclops doesn't attack you once in a while, he'll just de-aggro and go for the closest structure again, which might be your base. Alright, it's time for death. Now pay attention to how to kite this new Deerclops. So recently Deerclops got changed so that if he swiped to the right, that's where he actually attacks. So you can just go right under him and go to the other side of him and dodge the attack. Now the attack can be somewhat misleading because he targets you right before he does his attack. So if you move preemptively, his targeting also switches preemptively. So make sure you wait for his animation to actually start before you move. Stale Hambat? What do you mean? I'm making good use of my weaponage. Oh, I don't want my helmet breaking. That would make me do the big sad. Nice! Once you kill Deerclops, make sure you use the eyeball to make the eyebrow ready for spring. Pumpkin! Now we do need a pumpkin because in this run we will be killing a misery Toadstool, so that means we need a canary, which means we need a scarecrow. And you need a pumpkin for a scarecrow. What the hell is this? What the? Those darn tumbleweeds are at it again! Gosh darn it, I should have made the flingomatic way earlier. Gosh darn it, Chester. So off screen, a tumbleweed must have tumbled through my base, got set on fire, and then toasted everything. So of course we were busy on the first full moon, so on the second full moon we got Shadow Chester and Glommer. You can transform normal Chester into Shadow Chester by putting 1 nightmare fuel in each of his slots on a full moon. All this does is give him 3 extra inventory slots. I didn't even notice! You know all those grass, tufts and saplings that I planted? They're all gone! They all got toasted off screen. I love it when things get destroyed off screen. So these are the last moments we saw the grass tufts and saplings. And as you can see, there's no tumbleweed in sight. And right as we walk off screen, there's no tumbleweed. So the tumbleweed must have rolled into the base, like right as I walked off screen. I want to make my scarecrow! Collect your wood. Time to replace all those tufts and saplings. Bam, no more toasted base. Alright, let me show you how to put all of your kelp in one spot. Plant it in a big long line against the coast like this, and then get a boat at the end of that line. And then, this is the most important part, pay attention. You want to row towards the coast, but also towards the kelp. This way, your boat will stay in the exact same horizontal position while you glide along the coast and push all of the kelp onto one spot. Alright, let's slow it down now. Perfect. Oh my goodness, 29 entire bull kelps in one little position. Now, kelp count as a vegetable in the crock pot, and putting them all in one spot means you can just pick them all just by holding spacebar. Takes less time. Wow. I can see the ground again. Now let's start building some chests. Now we have 4 tiles for our chest zone, and we're just going to put 4 chests inside each tile, just like I'm doing on screen. And then repeat that for the 4 other tiles. Now I ran out of boards, but it's fine, we'll get wood later. Worlds will always generate with 1 Volt Goat herd, but you can sometimes get up to 4. But in this world, I got 2 herds. Make sure you leave 1 Volt Goat from each herd alive, otherwise the herd won't respawn. It is a good idea to try to separate the herds, just to make sure that you don't mess up and kill all of the Volt Goats from one herd and leave 2 from the other herd alive, because of course that would destroy one of the herds. Yeah, pigs, berries. Oh, it's so, look at this, delicious. 29 kelps all in one place. Alright, we're gonna need to kill lots of moose goose. We're gonna have to kill all of the moose goose in 2 separate springs. That's how many feathers we need. If it's rained, make sure you use a morning star, assuming the moose goose is wet. If the moose goose isn't wet and it isn't raining, then use a handbat or something. But when the babies spawn, let them chase you and spin at you until they cause lightning to strike. When they cause lightning to strike, it forces it to rain, and therefore the next moose goose you fight will be wet. The bosses were just like the extra challenge. The only boss that was... Oh, what the hell? Oh, well, what the... Spider-Man with us. Oh, it's happened. Whoa, the boat sinks really fast. Well, we're dead, Chester. I'm sorry, Chester. It was nice knowing you. Oh, goodness. There's no escape, Chester. I didn't realize it would die so fast. Holy moly, I tried, Chester. I'm sorry. Goodbye, Chester. Nice. Don't be like me. Make sure you build a lightning rod on your boats. I made the walk of shame back to my base to make another boat, built a lightning rod, and grabbed all of my items. Luckily, nothing sank. If something would sink, you can just put it in your backpack, then it won't sink. Something like bundling wrap sink. Don't stop raining. Don't stop raining. Don't stop raining. Don't stop raining. Pearl! Yes, I'm too good at the game. Now we're going to start our Pearl tasks now. We can't finish them until summer, but these are the 3 that we're going to do. We're going to give Pearl an umbrella while it's raining. Then while we're here, we're going to pick up the 6 kelp on her island and dry them. That's another task. Then kill the Lureplant, which is another task. And before we leave, we're going to grab 2 moonglass for moon goggles later. Now, if you're about to fight a moose goose at night, you can just run away and the moose goose will go to sleep, and then you can just keep hitting the babies and eventually you'll kill them all. Angie. Oh my goodness, it got 1 hit. Oh wait, we did it. Ooh, and everything's wet again. Yay! I'm only gonna say this once, but every time your grass and twigs are grown, pick them, because you will need grass, like a lot of it, by the end of the run. So keep picking it. If you find any Lurplants around the map, make sure you kill them and bring them back to your base, because they might be handy for summer. Also, we're gonna build 2 extra fridges in those positions, because we need more space. We're using the same kelp strategy to plant Pearl's kelp where our other kelp was. And then before the full moon on day 51, we are going mining for 8 fossils. If you put a spear and a light bulb in Hutch, he becomes Spiky Hutch, where if something hits him, he hits them back with recoil damage, and those tentacles have like 10 health, so he kills them in 1 hit. So it's very good for knocking down the tentacle pillars. If you're playing as Wendy, set Abigail to not angry, and then just push her really close to the tentacle pillar, then start attacking it, and Abigail will keep killing all of the tentacles that spawn. If you want to use your Morningstar against Volt Goats, it will electrify them, giving you electric milk. You have to have lightning protection, otherwise you'll get shocked. Oh, Antlion's gonna spawn like here, so I want these goats like over there, like not right next to Antlion. But Jakey, it's not summer. How can you tell that Antlion's gonna spawn there? Well, let me teach you. So here's 4 pictures. What's the common thing you see between these 4 pictures? That's right, Wendy's there. No, I'm just kidding. It's those markings on the floor. Antlion's spawner will always be surrounded by these markings. Now, don't get it confused. Sometimes there's random bits of turf missing all over the oasis, but these specific markings are consistent for Antlion's spawner. So using this, you can find where Antlion's gonna spawn before summer, so you know where to go rather than trying to search through the sandstorm. Now we're gonna make that automatic goat pen. So in the middle of one tile, place an anemone and surround that anemone with fences. Don't forget to put down a lightning rod. Without going too much into goat mechanics, goats, like beefalo, have a home location. The goats will always try to get back to their home location. You can tell if where their home location is because they'll be around that area. So these 2 goats are standing there. This means they're roughly in their home location. This is good. We're gonna wait for them to go to sleep or blow a pan flute to force them to go to sleep. And we're gonna put down a single gate so that we can go in and out. Open the gate and then slowly push one of the goats into the pen. If it wakes up, just put it back to sleep, or you can use an ice staff to freeze it and then push it in. Now we chase this guy away. Once you've chased this gate a couple of screens away, just put him to sleep and just trap him somewhere with some fences so that he can't get back to his herd. Now this is going to require some explaining, so bear with me. Firstly, the enemy trap just does damage and then resets and then does more damage to anything standing on top of it. And it also resets off screen and gets set off screen. Here we have a diagram of what we have on the map. We have the herd home location and the trapped goat. So what we did is we trapped one goat at the herd home location inside the trap. We chased the other goat away to where the red marking is. But that goat at the red marking is no longer in his home location. His home location hasn't changed, it's still the green spot. This is important because when the goat in the green location in the trap dies, the red goat is still alive and still a part of that herd. And so how goats respawn is the goats will respawn where the last goat died. And since the last goat died in the trap, the red goat will respawn another goat in the trap. So that's why the red goat is chased away so that he doesn't die. The reason why we did this is because now we don't have to go and kill the goats, which is nice because we need lots of Volt Goat horns. So we'll just come back here like next year and see how many Volt Goat horns we get. And so so when that goat wakes up, he's gonna constantly be trying to run back here because this is his home location. TLDR, this guy will die. And that goat is still alive. So this goat will reproduce a goat, but because the last goat in the herd that died was here, the goat will keep spawning inside of the fence. And it just so happens that an enemy does enough damage so that it can kill a goat before the next goat spawns. So it will just keep killing the goats over and over again. We do have a secondary herd though, so we'll just kill some of them and then we'll fence one of them in. This just stops them from moving around so much since they'll be kind of anchored to that goat that's trapped in the fence. Finally, we're grabbing a beefalo in spring. Beefarella. Day 51 is the next full moon, so grab your Starcaller staff and head over to the Moonstone Forest. So pay attention to how I'm placing these walls. I'm leaving one green tile between the walls and the moonstone. This will make it so the werepigs won't try to hit over the wall to hit the moonstone. They'll try to go around it. But those fossils we got earlier, we're going to place them at the front, and therefore all the werepigs and hounds will come around the front and get stuck on the fossils. Because much like the larvae, they don't see the fossils as obstacles, but they do see the walls as obstacles. So in their pathing, all they see is a massive gap in the wall which they can go around, but then they get stuck, of course, on the fossils. If you want, you can kill some of these werepigs for some meat and pig skin, but it's not necessary. How many piggy skins did we get? Remember those tree guards from earlier? Yeah, let's go kill them because I don't have any living logs. Welcome to the base beefarella. It's nearly summer, so we're going to build a luxury fan because the way we're going to stay cool in summer is a luxury fan and the umbrella. Shadow Manipulator and Dank Sword are quite woo! These ice boxes here will be for farm seeds only. Whoa, look at all this kelp. 37 kelps, yummy. So here's a good example of how to deal with hound attacks in spring and winter. Try to kill the ice hound first, because it might freeze the other hounds around it. Now we do need 10 marble for Pearl's quest, so let's go ahead and get that. Baby, you escaped from your mammy. Oh, what the hell? We've got a toolbird fort over here. Oh, I didn't see this. Oh, goodness. It's a massacre. The smallish toolbirds tried to fight, but they lost. How's it going up here? Yes, Volcanites have been dying. You can tell by the rot and the meat. Look at the inventory, because we're about to do Bee Queen, and this is what you're going to need. Summer is about to start, so I did put down some moon cooler staff lights around where I'm going to be fighting to stay cool during the fight. If it is just finished being a very heavy rain, and so now the rain is light, Bee Queen will be wet for like half the fight, so feel free to bring a Morning Star. But otherwise, make sure you have a handbat and some dark swords to make sure you have enough weapons to finish her off. In my case, I've just brought nightmare fuel and living logs to craft more dark swords when I run out. Anyway, at the start of the fight, you're going to blow one of your pan flutes to put everything to sleep. Then you're going to kill all but one of the Grumblebees and then start face tanking Bee Queen. Be sure to let go of F when Bee Queen flies away, otherwise your character might hit the Grumblebee, and then if you kill the last Grumblebee, she'll just spawn more. Run away with a mag and a walking cane and a path to heal so she doesn't hit you while you're healing. Otherwise, that's the entirety of phase 1. So now we're going to skip ahead to phase 2. You can tell when she enters phase 2 because she does a scream like this. Anyway, so phase 2, the difference is Bee Queen will summon 2 sets of Grumblebees, and if you kill any of them, she'll just spawn more. We can't kill the Grumblebees, so we can't 1v1 Bee Queen. This is where we're going to use those pan flutes. So you're going to blow the pan flute and then get a bunch of hits on Bee Queen. And then, but right as the Grumblebees return to Bee Queen, you're going to run away and blow the pan flute again. It's worth noting the Bee Queen will scream to wake the Grumblebees up and to get them back to her. So when she screams, that's when she's calling them back to her. If you manage to put all the Grumblebees to sleep and not Bee Queen, that's good, because that means you'll get a few more hits in. That's it for phase 2, so now let's skip towards phase 3. That is what happens in phase 3. Bee Queen will occasionally scream, causing the Grumblebees to get a burst of speed, and they'll chase you. And the idea here is using your mag, your walking cane, and a path. You lead the Grumblebees very far away from Bee Queen, or not too far away, and then put them to sleep, and then go back to Bee Queen and get some hits on her. And then once the Grumblebees get back to you, you run away, wait for her to scream, and rinse and repeat. Now, the reason I say not too far is because if you go too far away from where Bee Queen spawns, so that little hive in the ground, then she'll go back to her spawn, and if you don't make it back to her fast enough, she'll just despawn. Also, if you drag her Grumblebees so far away that it's outside of this area, then once you get back to Bee Queen, she'll just spawn more Grumblebees. Now, this area is quite large. It's about a 14 tile radius around where she spawns, so keep that in mind. Skipping to phase 4. Phase 4 is signaled by her screaming again, and this is the same as phase 3, except she screams a little bit more often, so you have less time to eat food before the Grumblebees will chase you again. It's worth noting you don't need a pan flute in phase 3 and 4. You can just run back to Bee Queen, but using a pan flute just allows you to get more hits. Anyway, Bee Queen's dead. We've unlocked bundling wrap, so make yourself a bundling wrap with one of the claws bundles that you got from Claws and a rope, and it's going to be common practice now to constantly have a bundle wrap on you with bundled up food like meatballs and pierogies and like cooked cactus flesh. There's no wildfires in the first 2 and last 2 days of summer, but otherwise make sure you're flinging mags on. Since we know where Antlion was from earlier, we're going to put down a Mooncrawler staff to make our thermal stone cold and then start fighting. Now, I personally don't like fishing for the desert goggles since it can take forever, and you don't really need it, so bring a lot of armor just in case you get hit. Even with all this negative speed bonus, you barely have to move to dodge the sand spikes. As the fight goes on, Antlion attacks faster and faster, so it gets kind of hard to dodge. If you get trapped in by sand spikes, just tank the damage and keep hitting Antlion so that he doesn't heal, but otherwise, if there's an opening, do try to dodge the sand spikes. I'll let the rest of the fight play out so you can see how fast Antlion starts attacking. uncalculated hits now because he just attacks way too fast. Well, that's the Antlion fight. You don't have to kill him, but if you want to avoid the sinkholes that he makes, then it's kind of nice to get him out of the way. Alright, it's been long enough. Let's use that beefalo now that it's summer, so he's not in here anymore. And we'll ride him and get the shadow pieces in place. By this time, you probably would have explored the map enough that you know where all the shadow pieces are. So just go put them in the set piece. Oh, there's 3 tree guards here. Oh my goodness, think of the living logs. Alright, let's actually do Pearl's quests now. So we need 8 berry bushes, 10 butterflies, 10 cactus flowers, and then 1 cactus flower to make a flower salad out of, which is 1 cactus flower and then 3 cactus. We'll need 10 marble, 10 boards, and the ingredients to make a pinch and winch, which is 2 boards, 2 rope, and 1 cut stone. Is this close to the shore? And Malbatross is here? I don't have the armor to kill Malbatross. Thanks for the boost, Malbatross. Appreciate it. And lastly, we'll need 10 cookie cutter shells. Finding a cookie cutter shell is kind of random, but you'll find one eventually. You just keep sailing around. And now copy everything I do on screen. We have to go get my bottle from the base or sail around and hope that one spawns. I mean, we have to find the marsh biome anyway. Oh, there's 2 right next to each other. Would you look at that? Well, I'm close to base. I'm just going to go grab the bottle. Waterlogged biome located. Now we can grow our own trees. Pour into the microphone. Oh, hello. We're going to need this orb eventually to summon Celestial Champions, so may as well find it now. This meteor is guaranteed to fall by day 50, and it will be in one of your meteor biomes, probably the Mosiac biome. While we were at the cookie cutter shops, I grabbed the 20 salt so that I could make 2 salt boxes, hell yeah. After giving the bottle to Pearl, you can buy a pinch and winch blueprint from her. Then build that and pinch and winch all the garbage around her island to the dark spots in the water. That should be your last task, and then you can get the Pearl from Pearl, and then we're done. Oh, Pearl acquired. Pearl's Pearl. Nice. Now this you don't need to do yourself, but I really wanted to grow one of these giant trees that you can see right now next to my base. And to do that, you have to bump into one of these trees in one of these biomes in the sea, so that you can pinch and winch up the nut that the tree drops, and you can grow this nut into a tree. But we're going to use a mod, Action Q Reborn 2, to plant all of these pine cones. Using the beefalo, we're going to transport the nuts to our base. In fact, we grabbed 2 nuts. And now the first stage of planting the tree is we have to put it back in the water. So you have to use a pinch and winch to put it on the water. Let's cook these meats. Drop overboard. Wait, I'm dumb. I didn't line it up properly. Okay, hold on, wait. Drop overboard. Drop it overboard. So the roots of the trees are going to be looking weird because they'll be like on the land almost. Because I've dropped it like really close to the edge. Now it's time to cobblestone the base. So it looks beautiful. Wow, amazing. Get jammed. Oh wait, what? It was a bug? Oh, it was a visual bug. So you have to relog after they've grown. I wasted a jam just there because of the visual bug. Alright, now he's large. Now we can start jamming. Explaining time. So using a tree jam, which you can make by using 2 figs and 1 Glommer goop at an alchemy engine. The figs you get from the biome that we were just at where we've got these tree nuts, and Glommer goop of course you get from Glommer. If you use this tree jam on one of these trees that we just planted, if it's not already at its maximum growth stage, then it will force it to its next stage. But once it's at its maximum growth stage, you can jam it, and what happens is what you can see on screen. The jam will start soaking into the tree over 4 or 5 days, then you can jam it again. And once you've done that 4 times, it turns into a massive tree, which we'll see later. Goodbye sandy turf, you've been replaced by cobblestone. Building a second thingamatic in the extension version of the base. This is where we're going to have cake houses and drying racks and such. We'll zoom out to show how he spawns. So he'll spawn up here, might go for the rot. So Bearger spawns identically to Deerclops, except he doesn't go for structures, he'll just search it for food. But his search range for food isn't very big. If you drop and pick up food near Bearger, he'll get angry at you and eventually he'll attack you after the 3rd time. Now we're going to bait out 3 swipe attacks, and then after that he'll do his charge attack, which is very destructive. Ready? Oh, it's beautiful. It's so beautiful. All of them in one foul swoop, just like that. Like, he'll charge again. Attack Bearger, go away from me. Oh my goodness, Bearger. At this point, I wanted the rocks from the toolbed fall, and Bearger didn't spawn any tree guards. So I'm gonna run him through some forest until he dies to some tree guards, because I need living logs. Bearger has fallen to the tree guardians. Oh boy, I'm insane and there's a hound attack coming. I'm just gonna run away. So if you ever get overrun by a hound, the best thing to do is just run away to try and get rid of some of the hounds, and then ideally attack the special hounds first. The special hounds are like fire and ice hounds. Fire hounds are immune to fire damage and ice hounds are immune to freezing, but the normal hounds that spawn alongside them are not immune to either of them. Collect your wood. Now we're ready to go to the archives now, so we're gonna deconstruct the Mooncaller staff to get the opal, the precious gem. I'm gonna bundle it up so that a slurtle doesn't eat it, because you know that happened to me once. Now the archives are behind the lunar mushroom biome, which is behind the blue mushroom biome, and the blue mushroom biome is usually opposite to the ruins, so you can find it by using that information. Plug in your opal gem here in the archives and listen closely. That coffee or tea? It's coffee. I'm a sinner. I haven't had tea in like a week. Wow. Wilson has never been so spooked in his short time in the constant. Wow, very spooky. Now go around the archives until you find all the 3 different knowledge machines. They are different colors and different shapes. You need 1 knowledge from each machine. And then go find this puzzle room. There will be one of these centipedes in it, so break it before it comes to life. If it does come to life, then just kill it. And then you have to play a memory game to unlock each of the knowledges. So just trial and error your way through until you find the pattern, and then you'll unlock a blueprint from each of the knowledges. So 3 separate blueprints. Technically, we only need 1 of the blueprints, but since this is a complete guide, we're just going to unlock all 3 of them. Nice! Now, since you've activated the archives, that means there are now moon creatures hovering around, so don't equip any dark magic items like dark swords, because you'll get hit very hard. I actually have no use for these vegetables because I just use Pierogi to heal, so I'm going to feed it all back to the bird and just get the seeds and put the seeds in the fridge, since the seeds last a lot longer than the vegetables in the fridge. If you don't have a moon rock and a Thulsite piece in your base, then mine one of the moon statues down in the archives while you're there, and then with the blueprint you unlocked, you can make an astral detector. This will point you towards where the altar pieces are on the mainland, on the Lunar Island, and where Crab King is. Once it hits 20%, I tend to hammer it while it's deployed, that way you get the Thulsite and the moon rock back, and then you can just make it again and use it again for 100% durability. Once you've got the 2 pieces from the mainland, we're going to transport it to the Lunar Island. Now on the Lunar Island, you want to look for 3 celestial fissures that form a triangle, and as you can see here, these kind of form a triangle. The points on the triangle do have to be relatively close as well. Go to the rocky area of the Lunar Island and mine out all 3 pieces and put them in the triangle. You don't have to socket them yet, but you can if you want. How many horns? Oh my goodness, look at all these horns! How long has this thing been running for? Whoa! 7 horns! Made that 8 horns, holy moly. And there's 1 inside! Bait the trapper going off. Whoa, look at all this stuff! Oh my goodness, I have so many horns! That's so good! And got a bunch of meat. So since we found and mined all of the pieces except Crab King, now the Astral Detector will point us towards Crab King, so it pointed us in the direction and we found him. Now, map orientation is important. I will be talking about Crab King's setup as if you're pointed northeast, which is the way our base is facing. So remember the default orientation that we talked about before, but you press E once. So with this now correct map orientation, you want to knock out all of the rocks at the bottom of Crab King, so all the rocks below Crab King. And on our way back, we've grabbed some more figs to make more jam so we can jam our trees to grow them big. So now he's in grown state and now he's jammed. Now I decided I want to build my werepig farm, so I went to the forest and hammered down the remaining pig houses. Not all of them, but enough to build my pig houses. And here's another example at dealing with hound waves in the late game. More specifically, getting rid of the red hounds first to light things on fire. That distracts the other hounds so that you can deal with less at one time. Oh no, it's winter already. Let's do the Moonstaff event again because, you know, we need another Moonstaff. Oh! The last jam has been applied. Woohoo! Wow, this bait pen is beautiful. It's important to build the Flingomatic first because it has a bigger collision and then fences. You catch some bees. Now they're aggroed onto you, but they're panicking because they're taking fire damage. And now you just put it out. And we've got the 4 bees we need to make a beehive. Look at that. Oh no, I placed them wrong. They're not symmetrical. Do I hammer them all down to do it? Like, you're meant to place them there because then they're equally far from the edge. have some jam. Now I kill claws every winter because you can get good boss loot and mandrakes even though I already have the Krampus sack. You don't have to, but I'd recommend it at least until you get a Krampus sack. And we've already seen this fight, so we're just going to skip through it. But for the Krampus phase, I did bring a pan flute just to show off. That makes it a bit easier. I already have this figure sketch into the Flingamag. A Deerclops eyeball, nice. No second Krampus sack. And then a big surprise. Oh, there it is. Look at that chunky boy. Here you go, my son. Alright, it's time for the Twins of Terror. We're running low on weapons, so I kind of want the Shield of Terror because it's a rechargeable tentacle spike. To summon the Twins of Terror, use a piece of Nightmare Fuel on the terrarium and then activate it, and then during the night, the twins will spawn. Now, we're going to be attacking this blue or green twin. I don't know what color that is. Basically, we're not attacking the red twin. So, to start this fight, you're going to want 2 rounds of speed bonus. So, a mag and a walking cane will do, and you're going to start the fight by pan-fluting both of the twins. Now, I'm going to do a strategy where I don't kill the minions, so be able to ignore the minions. Every time the twins dash, you have to make them dash away from their minions. That way, when the minions wake up, they can't see you, so they can't attack you, so they won't aggro onto you. Now, phase 1 is rather tame. Phase 2, on the other hand. There will be some. So here, I'm just getting rid of the minions, because if the minions hit you and stagger you, and then the main boss hits you, it hits for a lot of damage. I do have full sight crowns, but I still don't want to get hit. Now, lucky for me, my phase 2 is very short because he transformed very late. But once they hit low health, then both of the twins will transform into phase 2. So I'm going to show you how to dodge the blue twin in a test world. So we could just make him run away from his babies, which I think is what we'll do. Now, when the blue twin enrages, the red twin enrages as well and turns to phase 2, and vice versa. So, when he spawns back, he's already in phase 2. Whereas the blue twin likes to dash really fast, the red twin prefers spawning minions. And when he does, he spawns more minions than the blue twin. We're going to run away from the minions when the red twin is dashing at us, so that we don't have to deal with the minions. But if you get overrun, just use the pan flute and put everything to sleep, then deal with the minions, and then deal with the big bad boss. Look at this guy hiding on the ocean. Be sure not to get too close to the ocean because the twins can dash onto the ocean like that and then they just get stuck there until you spawn them again. And there it is, we now have a rechargeable shield. Shield of Terror, it does 51 damage, and it also has 80% damage reduction, and same as the Eye of Terror helmet, you feed it food to restore its durability, so don't let it break. Using driftwood, bone shards, and electrical doodad, make yourself a tackle receptacle, because we're going to be hunting down Malbatross soon, and we need fishing baits to do that. Also a pot as well to store all of our figure sketches. The final goop for this tree. Oops. But hey, it's a new moon! So we've already done harder bosses like the twins, so the shadow pieces should be a piece of cake, as long as you have enough speed bonus. Now, during phase 1, you want to chase after the knight, and just wear some armor so that you don't die, because you'll probably be taking hits from all 3 of the shadow pieces. So just focus on killing the knight, then once he's dead, the rook and the bishop will level up, and next we're going to go for the bishop. Get your booty back here! Alright, nice. At this point, you probably want to put on a crown and a mag for the extra speed bonus, so that you only get hit by the bishop once, and then you can consistently dodge the rook. You want to be dodging as much as possible. You don't want to be tanking the rook or the bishop, because it's just too much damage. Once the level 2 bishop is dead, the rook is going to level up, and now this is where you need to have a mag, a cane, and you need to be near a path, because you need the path's speed bonus to dodge the rook's attack. This way you're going to take no damage, and just keep moving until you see the rook actually reappear and clamp down. So don't try to turn back early, you might get hit. Too good at the game. Woo! Heart acquired for Fuelweaver. Now, second Deerclops is here. We've already reviewed Deerclops, so we're gonna just skip the fight. Go behind him. It's kind of annoying. Wilson. Now we're gonna make one of each of the spinner baits. Now the red one works best during daytime, the green one works best during evening time, and the blue one works best during the night. Along with a fishing rod to actually use the lures. Hello, Malbatross. Oh, I just took a Malbatross to the face. Now, Malbatross wasn't aggroed onto me there, but still hit me because she dashed through me, so watch out for that. And if you have any sails, Malbatross might destroy them if she dashes through your boat. That's why I don't use sails. The only must-have is armor, food, and an anchor, so that Malbatross doesn't push you as far. Now, even with an anchor, Malbatross still does push your boat a little bit, so what you can see me doing, I stand on the side of Malbatross where there's the least amount of boat. That way, if she pushes the boat that way, it's not that big of a deal, because on the opposite side of Malbatross, I have more boat that I can move to. Also, bring an ice staff to get her aggro, and whenever she flies her way when she switches phases, just use one ice staff cast on her to get her aggro. If you don't do this, then sometimes she'll stay away from your boat and throw waves at you from afar. Oh my goodness, Wilson's doing some deeps right now. Look at this. This is insane. Epic dodge. Do you see that deeps Wilson was? Holy moly, Wilson, calm down. Wolfgang who? Get your booty back here. Man, he really likes doing that attack, huh? Do I have to ice staff him after that, or will he come back? Oh no, he comes back. Okay, cool. So, it took 3 log suits, for future reference. 3 entire log suits. Very cool, Malbatross, very cool. So remember that I don't like using sails. We're gonna make Malbatross a sail, and we'll put it in the base. Wow, a sail we'll never use has been created. Good job, boys. Like I said at the beginning, I don't like rockfruit bushes, so I forgot to plant them until now. But if you're going to plant them like this, roughly. And now in this little area, we're going to set up some drying racks. Or something like that. And this is what the werepig farm looks like in action. Even if you're Wilson, you can still kill a lot of werepigs just by holding F and tanking. And tanking isn't too bad because we have the Eye of Terror helmet that's just recharge. But sometimes, nice, I can stun lock them. Oh no, they're all following one mother. That's way too dangerous, dude. I gotta thin him out. Aha, mummy is far away. Oh, they're calling that another mother? Alright then. Yeah, he made it rain. Woo. Oh, that was a close point. Set himself on fire as he was going into my base. That's kind of rude. The babies are being eaten by Lureplant. Yes, Lureplant, do my work for me. Bearger wood rip when you're right. Oh no, the beef lower. Wait, what? Why'd you attack me? Give me back my starfall staff. Oh, I'm not gonna get all stuck in there. That looks like a mess. Toast this forest up 1 second. Reason why we're toasting this is because charcoal is really good fuel for the Flingomatic. I require more salt for another salt box. Look at all this gold I left here earlier. Now, I'm going to be using cactus, but if you want another sanity food, dried kelp is really good. It lasts for a long time and restores 10 sanity. Then using a honey, a corn, and 2 twigs, we're going to make a pow cake, which is food that spoils after like over 10,000 days. We're going to use that to bait the pig pen. And if you have spare food that's going to rot, just bundle it up and save it for later. Oh goodness, that could have been oof if there was multiple. This is a prime example of if you're in a dangerous environment, then you should probably just always wear armor. If there was 2 depth worms there, I would have got hit by both of them and I would have died. But I guess this is a good example on how to kill a depth worm. No, my green gem! Give it back! Stupid Slittle, I knew what to do that time. PTSD from the Wendy run incident where I ate my iridescent gem. So yeah, if a Slittle bites you and steals one of your rocks from your inventory, if you hit it fast enough, it will drop the gem or rock and then you can pick it back up. Oh, Hutch killed it! Oh my goodness, Hutch, good job! So for whatever reason, I wanted some more Thule sites. I went back to the archives to mine most of the statues and hammer most of the walls. So now we're gonna go to the ruins and do some crafting. Whoa, look at all this stuff. Darn, imagine running out of nightmare fuel. Oh, he's here! Nice! Hello, Toadstool. So there was 2 spawners hid back here. Now, I don't know how to predict Toadstool spawns. I was looking for him in this run for days. But all I can tell you is he doesn't spawn connected to the grass biomes, and he doesn't spawn inside the ruins. Otherwise, he could be connected to anything. If you're desperate for wood and Bearger is not around, you can just use weather panes, and one weather pane use will knock down about 4 or 6 trees, so it's pretty good. No tree guard. I'm planting Lureplants around the edge of the Flingomatic range to effectively extend its range, since wildfires will target the Lureplants over everything else. Whoa, any horns? Oh, nice. I enlarged this little enclosure to make sure all of the goats in the herd could fit in it, so I put a gate in it. There we go, very cool. And then Antlion attacked. Gosh darn it. Full moon, that means we're pig killing time. Thank you for the meat and pig skin. And again, it's another summer, so you can just kill Antlion again. Let's skip the fight because we've already seen it. So the one downside about not killing Fuelweaver early is to farm nightmare fuel, you have to jump in and out of wormholes to lower your sanity rather than just wearing a bone helm. But hey, that's what we're doing to farm nightmare fuel. Also, to defend against hound waves in the late game when you have little baby Vargs, you can just use a beefalo herd. This beefalo herd is next to my base, or like a screen or 2 away, because this is the herd that developed from the beefalo that I stole from another herd at the start of the game. So putting a bird cage underground and then putting a canary in that cage, a day later, the canary will be poisoned. You need a poisoned canary to turn Toadstool into Misery Toadstool, and that's exactly what we're doing. So look at the inventory, because we're going to need a lot of stuff. We're going to put all of our food in the fridge so that Toadstool doesn't spoil it, and between phases, we're going to go back to the fridge and eat what we need. So anyway, drop the canary next to Toadstool's cap, and he'll turn into Misery Toadstool. Then chop the cap to spawn him. That's right, 99,999 health. This is going to take a while. Now in the first phase, Toadstool is going to have a Boom Shroom attack and a Spore Bomb attack. Toadstool will spawn some Boom Shrooms, and after their 3rd audio cue, they will explode. So they grow 3 times, then explode. So when you hear the 3rd sound effect, that's when you should probably run away and move away from the Boom Shrooms. They do heavy damage, and you don't want to tank them. Next is a Spore Bomb attack. This is where Toadstool puts a Spore Bomb on your head, and about 3 seconds later, it will pop, making a spore field on the ground. Now, as you can see, what I did was I ran away last second to put the spore bomb away from Toadstool so it doesn't clog up the arena. That's very important that you do that. And also, standing in this spoils food, so that's why it's in the fridge. Also worth saying, as soon as he puts the spore bomb on my head, I do 5 attacks, then run away. And that seems to line up nicely with the timing. Now Toadstool's walking back to the middle of his arena. This indicates that he's about to summon some Misery Spore Caps. Now these Spore Caps buff Toadstool's speed, attack speed, and damage reduction. And if you let too many of these Spore Caps exist, Toadstool will have up to 99% damage reduction while they're up. But to combat this attack, all you have to do is use one Weather Pane cast on each of the trees to knock them down. As soon as they get knocked down, he loses all of his buffs. You would have noticed that there's a little bit of a delay each time he spawns a tree. So instead of waiting around and casting Weather Panes when he spawns the trees, you can do some hits while there's no trees up. Or, and this is what I do, as soon as he starts spawning trees, you can run to the fridge, making sure your health and sanity is at max, and then start knocking down all the trees. Skipping forward a little bit, you can see I tried to get Toadstool stuck behind the pond, and now he's trying to spawn trees, but before he does that, he tries to get back to the middle of the arena. So I'm getting loads of free hits because he takes a while to get back to the middle of the arena. See, there used to be where he had to get back to the center before he would spawn trees, but then they changed it, so like, he either gets back to the center, or after like 20 seconds of him trying, he just spawns trees wherever he is. This is good positioning. Holy moly, we've gotten behind the pond. Pog. We've actually gotten behind the pond. He's slipping that way, but it's fine. The way to get Toadstool stuck behind ponds is he simply walks towards you if you're standing a little bit further away from him while you're attacking him. So you have to just keep shifting yourself back a little bit and lure him behind the pond. And in this example, he got truly stuck behind the pond to the point that he was walking back to the middle of the arena for so long that he just started spawning trees behind the pond. So I get a load of free hits there, and all that does is save the amount of weather panes you need. So we're starting to get quite deep into the fight now. So when when he starts spawning trees, rather than trying to get hits in, I'm just gonna make extra dark swords if I need them, fill my health up, fill my sanity up, and then go and knock down all the trees from a distance. See how he started spawning the trees immediately there? Because he wasn't lured away. Surprise worm attack! Luckily, Toadstool will make quick work of these. 5 damage to Toadstool. Because they're wasting so much of my weather pane time. I'm gonna let Toadstool kill these and then I'll knock down the trees. Oh my goodness, Toadstool can kill them while they're underground? Oh my goodness, Toadstool's a beast with all of his trees up. Oh my goodness, there it goes again. Did you think that this fight was gonna get easier? No. As it goes on, he spawns more boom shrooms at a time, and he does this. Yeah, he has a massive area effect stomp attack now. And every time he does it, it causes a mini earthquake, so you have to dodge rocks as well. Now the pattern here is kind of inconsistent depending on how far you're kiting and how fast you're attacking. Basically, he'll do the stomp attack every second or third boom shroom attack. So if he didn't do it last boom shroom attack, be vigilant and be prepared to dodge the next boom shroom attack because it will be followed up by a stomp. This fight does take so long that your stars you put up at the start of the fight will go out. So be prepared at some point during the fight to put them back up. And now, the last phase. It's the same as the second to last phase, except he stomps twice as often. Let's watch for a little bit to just see the pattern. Here I made a little bit of a mistake. I put the Mooncaller's staff a little bit too close to the arena, so I was standing next to it for a while, so I started freezing. But it's okay, you have healing food to heal through the pain. And unfortunately, one of Toadstool's trees spawned next to my fridge, so I had to weather pane it down, and the weather pane destroyed the fridge. It's not the end of the world. Your food, it will spoil a little bit faster on the floor than in the fridge, but you can still pick it up and eat it. Though, if a rabbit falls from an earthquake, it will start eating your cooked cactus, so beware of that. Goodbye, misery. We did it, boys. But anyway, knapsack. And we got the Glowcap. We wanted the mushlight, not the Glowcap, but that's fine. That was legit almost a 30-minute fight. We out of here, boys. Good job. Now, the reason we killed Misery Toadstool is because he drops the knapsack blueprint. The knapsack costs one Shroomskin and 1 canary to make, but it makes 4 knapsacks. So you can deconstruct all 4 of them to get 4 Shroomskins back. So it's a good way to duplicate Shroomskins for the mushlights that we're going to make for the base. So it was either kill Misery Toadstool or kill Toadstool 2 or 3 times for enough Shroomskin. We're going back to the ruins again because I need more blue and purple gems for Crab King and then Fuelweaver. We need 8 purple gems for Crab King and along with maybe 6 blue gems for enough ice staffs. Bishops drop a guaranteed purple gem, so focus on killing some bishops. Oh my goodness, that's a lot. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Come back, I'll put you back to sleep. Back to sleep. Night night. Oh, you've come back for more. Now let's make 6 ice staffs, 3 weather panes, and then farm enough nightmare fuel so you have enough dark swords. Now you can see that I'm wearing a Tam O'Shanter. You can bring a Tam O'Shanter or a Beefalo hat, both work. You just need a form of insulation to protect from Crab King's freezing attack. We've got a few things to explain here. First, you can see that I'm trying to stay as far away as Crab King as possible while I'm plugging the gems in. This is kind of important because it's quite important to positioning. Also, it's important to say, as long as you're facing northeast, then you need to be below Crab King. The map orientation we talked about earlier, as long as you're below Crab King with that map orientation, everything will be fine. So once you're ready, plug all 8 purple gems and then pearl into Crab King, and this will activate the boss fight. And as soon as we've done that, we're going to use the driftwood ore to go backwards on our boat with just 1 stroke, just 1. This is Crab King's first attack. It's an attack where he tries to punch a bunch of holes in your boat. As soon as you hear him do the animation, count 6 hits and then do 6 ice staff hits. Now we've entered the phase where Crab King now has enabled a new attack. This attack is where he summons 6 claws all around him. Now this is where the positioning matters. If you weren't positioned here, you could get up to 3 claws clamped onto your boat, which makes the fight very hard to deal with, because the claws clamped onto your boat deal damage and you have to get rid of them. Crab King's attack pattern right now might be a bit messy, but it will clean up after. Okay, this is where the weather panes come in. Crab King is now trying to heal himself. The way to break his rocks to stop him from healing is you have to hit him more than twice in 1 second, and that's per rock. Just hitting him with your Dark Sword won't achieve that, so you need to throw 2 weather panes at him, then do 4 hits, then throw 2 more weather panes at him, and that will stop him from healing throughout his entire healing phase. And remember, if you get overwhelmed at some point during this fight, you can just freeze Crab King to effectively pause the fight. Uh-oh, that attack sounded different. This is Crab King's freezing attack. It tries to decrease your temperature, but because we have insulation, it won't be very effective. But you have to step away before he finishes it, otherwise he'll just freeze you indefinitely and then sink your boat. Why are you doing that attack? Now sometimes Crab King's timings can get messed up, so usually when he summons his claws, he'll follow up with a freeze attack, meaning you can basically ignore him for a little bit while you deal with the claws, because you'll be out of range of the freeze attack anyway. But that time around he did the geyser attack. If he does, don't worry, just freeze him, you'll get back into the normal attack pattern which we'll describe next. Okay, he's back in rotation now, I think. He should do a freeze attack now. Okay, cool. So if you haven't figured it out already, once you make it into this last phase and everything starts flowing nicely, his attack pattern is geyser, freeze, geyser, healing and claws at the same time, then freeze, and then it repeats. The last freeze attack you can kind of ignore because you'll be busy killing the claws. So I hope that made it easier to understand Crab King, otherwise the fight is the same what I've been showing you for the last few minutes, so let's just skip to the end now. Hog! Ooh, we're way too good at the game, it should be illegal. Glitch because of the weather panes? No, it's just the timing. When I pushed him into the second phase, I pushed him in at the wrong time. So his first rotation was kind of odd, but it fixes itself the second time round and after because you freeze him at a certain time, which pushes his attacks into the right order. So put a pinching winch down on that boat, grab the Celestial Tribute, make sure to pick up all your purple gems as well, because Crab King does drop them back. He also dropped Pearl's Pearl back, but it's cracked. You can give the cracked Pearl to Pearl if you want, but it will make her sad. Oh. Hello. Boys, step back. We might have encountered the hardest boss of the game, Lord of the Fruit Flies. He has a whopping 1,500 health. Yeah, okay. Just hold F with some armor and you'll be fine. He might survive long enough to spawn some fruit flies, but if he does, then kill them as well. Watermelon fruit fly, yeah! I do one massive cook up every like 30 days and then put all of it in one of my bundling wraps. And then bundle up the spare food and chuck it in the chest. This is the last time I mention it, but farming werepigs on a full moon. Good. Feed this to the mask. Yes, attack Bulgaria. No, not me. I'll go attack Bulgaria. Oh my goodness, the toolbirds might... Yo, the toolbirds are putting up a fight. Oh my goodness, they've got him down to 2,000 health. Holy moly. Don't kill him yet. I still have some trees to knock down. Alright, he can eat that meat on the floor while I take this meat. By the way, as long as you bait out one swing, he'll charge. So look, watch. So I'll bait out one swing, and now I'll run off screen. Right, Bulgaria, don't spawn too many tree guards. I won't be able to get them off you. Really didn't get any tree guards. I'm gonna have to go running through some random forest to get some tree guards. I don't want logs, I just want tree guards. Oh, there's one tree guard. No, Bearger. No, we never abandon Chester. No. I really didn't need all these rocks, but I thought it'd be a waste not to pick them up. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry, Toolbird babies. Your parents perished, so I will be your daddy now. Imagine. That's kind of horrific. Children. And the drying racks have been completed. Pog. At some point, some of my grass tufts turned into grass geckos, so I'm just planting some grass tufts to replace them, and then we're gonna pick up all of the wood! 20 days, right? I don't know. Here you go, Mr. Canary. Death. Right. A committed toasty forest. Now, I'm always low on grass, so we're gonna make a Lureplant grass twig farm underground so it's safe from wildfires. So plant your grass tufts and saplings like this, and then plant a Lureplant in the middle after fertilizing your grass tufts. Then come back every 3 days for some easy grass. That'd be pretty cool. Oh, yes! Because I need to pick up the canary. You have to be really fast to pick up the canary. It's sometimes kind of hard. Like that, like I was a bit too late. Okay, that's good for now. I need bone shards for my mushlights. What can I say? We're gonna be building 8 mushlights. Hey, you come with me. Which means we need 8 buckets of poop, which means we need 16 bone shards. Good, werepiggy. And we also need manure. So we're gonna feed 4 monster meat to a werepig and feed him 30 kelp. Well, I mean, just leave it on the floor so that he can eat it. There it is. Bam! Our Glowcaps. Woohoo! Oh, whatever, let's do something new. Let's put them in the corners. Let me see if I can still farm there. Yeah, it blocks one of the tiles. What if I put it there? Oh, nice. I'll put it there. That does match. Well, it's not a max price. You can see what I mean. If this was up here, because normally it would be here, and like you can't quite see this. Did you just poopy in my base? Now using our beefalo, we're going to take the third and final celestial altar to the Lunar Island and start plugging all of the altars into the triangle we marked out before. Woo! Yeah! That's the most scuffed triangle I've ever seen, but you know, it works, it works. Run, Chester, they're gonna attack you! Farm a potato if you haven't already, because you're gonna need one to make the moon goggles. Yes, it's me, of course. Once you go into the Moonstorm on the map, once you've activated the Lunar Storms by plugging in all 3 altas, go into it with your potato and your 2 Moonglass and find Wagstaff. He'll throw 2 blueprints at you. If you learn them, then make your astrals, and then you'll be able to see in the Moonstorm. If you fish for the desert goggles, you can just use those as well. You need 30 of this special Moonglass that you need pickaxes to mine, and you need 15 Moongleams. And you have to do this game 3 times to spawn 1 Celestial Champion, since you'd need 3 of the contained stacks. So just aim for getting 5 Moongleams and 10 Moon Shards per game, and then once you have 30 Moon Shards, just bundle them together so they don't spoil. Now in this minigame there is a lot to do, and we're going to explain what to do. If you get overwhelmed, don't worry about collecting the materials, being the Moonglass and the Moongleams. Just worry about protecting the science experiment, because you can collect the materials later on when you're not doing a game, but doing them at the same time will save you a bit of time. So once you find Wagstaff and you follow him a few times, you'll see this restrained static on the floor that's trying to restrain the static. Now I put down a Starclaw staff because it's winter, and wearing the Shield of Terror for some armor because these birds do a little bit of damage. Though it would be better if you used a log suit and a walking cane, because the walking cane can still one-hit the birds and you get to move faster. Speaking of these birds, your highest priority should be killing any birds that get too close to the science experiment, because the science experiment has a certain amount of health, and if enough damage is done to it, the experiment fails. So your top priority is killing the birds that get too close. There are 2 different types of birds. The more feathered and round birds do range attacks, and you can see them when they fire their projectile and just avoid the projectile. Then there's the melee birds. These melee birds will attack you after you've been inside their aggro range for a few seconds, but if you're fast enough, you can hit them before they hit you. Otherwise, killing the ranged birds first will be your top priority because they can hit the experiment from a distance. Let's talk about the Moongleams. The Moongleams are the little things that are flying around the air and will spawn around you over time. You'll notice that they randomly zap the air sometimes. If you're standing near that, it does damage to you, but it also recharges your astrals. So you kind of need to get hit by them. Otherwise, you just need to grow more potatoes so you can make more astrals when these astrals break. You can also use a sewing kit to repair astrals, but I just rather make new ones. The next priority after killing the birds is giving Wagstaff the correct tools. The science experiment has a timer until it completes, but that timer only ticks down while Wagstaff has the correct tool, so it gets paused when he's asking for a new tool. But the problem with giving him the correct tools is he'll ask for something like a grommet scribber, but the items aren't labeled correctly unless you're playing Winona, but on screen are the items and what they're called. And after a while you'll get used to which one's which. Anyway, make more pickaxes and butterfly nets when you need them. There's the priority list again, that's everything you need. Do that 3 times until you have everything we want on the we want list. Once the experiment completes, you'll see Wagstaff say it's done, then you have to go pick up the restrained static, and then the Moonstorms will teleport somewhere else on the map. Although it can just teleport on top of where it already was. And once you have 30 infused Moonglass, make sure you bundle them because they'll spoil. To craft this incomplete experiment, you need 1 restrained static, 2 electrical doodads, and 5 moon gleams. So you need to pre-craft that before you come to the Lunar Island, and you have to build it between all 3 of the altars, and then use the rest of the ingredients to upgrade the incomplete experiment 3 times. You know that orb we found in the Mosiac biome earlier? Yeah, you need that as well. Gosh darn it, I forgot the Celestial Orb. I happened to run into the deer and Klaus' sack, so I may as well kill them. There's no need to, I already have the Krampus sack, and I'm gonna skip through the fight, but hey, I did it. What did we get? Scales and Bearger Tree is pretty good though. Garbage. It is winter, so I'm going to put down a Starclaw staff, and then when you're ready, put the last ingredient in. For me, it's the Celestial Orb, and then the Celestial Champion will spawn. Make sure you don't have anything important on the floor next to where he's going to spawn, because as you can see, he obliterates the entire area with meteors when he spawns. Take a look at my inventory. I've got ingredients to make more weapons, I've got healing food, and I have Glommer goop. That's just going to be used to reduce my sanity. You don't need very good armor, I'm just going to use log suits throughout the entire fight. And I have Chester on the boat, which is holding more logs, more rope, and more weapons if I need them. So, phase 1 Celestial Champion, his first attack will be that rolling attack. He initiates his rolling attack by walking towards you. You can hit him 3 times while he's walking towards you before he starts his roll. So do 1, 2, 3, and then move out of his way. While he's rolling, he can change direction up to 3 times, but sometimes it's 2, so just be vigilant that he's going to change his direction. That next attack, he just slams the floor and does damage all around him. Simply step back and wait for him to stop, and then go back in and get some more attacks. Oh boy. Got hit by a Gusto. Maybe I should go insane already. Now this attack is a defensive attack. While he's in this state, he takes reduced damage, so there's no really much point in attacking because you're wasting your weapons. But he summons a bunch of Gestolts that will only travel so far away from him to try and hit you, so just run far away, wait for them to disappear, and then go back and attack him. I guess I didn't mention that when your sanity's full on the Lunar Island, Gestolts will roam around like nightmare creatures and they hit you, which makes you drowsy, which slows you down, which is kind of detrimental in a boss fight. That's why we have food to lower our sanity so we don't get hit by Gestolts. Even if you have low sanity, the Gestolts summoned by the boss can still attack you. He's only turning twice. I thought he could consistently change 3 times. Anyway, that's going to be phase 1. He doesn't attack in a consistent pattern and all of his attacks have variable amount of hits. Like sometimes he can roll for longer, sometimes it's shorter, sometimes he slams for more or less attacks. But otherwise it's the same as what we've just seen. So let's skip to phase 2. So the only speed bonus you need to dodge phase 2 is a walking cane. That is just enough. So you don't need a mag or anything else. We'll let Celestial Champion do 1 cycle of all of his attacks and then we'll talk about all of his attacks. Oh no, that's why you need to be insane. Now he'll get walls up. So when he stabs the ground, you need to step back, but after that, you just go twice. So all the walls are on the west side, right? So I just go to the east side to prep for the spin attack. And as long as you're moving in a straight line with a walking cane, he can't hit you. And he'll do a melee attack, then you bait out, and then you start again. Live commentary, Jakey did it pretty well, but that is the entire cycle. The fight will start with that spinning attack. If you look closely, there's a very subtle animation that indicates he's about to do his spin attack. And all you need to do is run in a straight line in the other direction with a walking cane, and that'll be enough to outrun it. Here's his wall attack. When he stabs the ground, you need to step away, otherwise you'll get hit. But as soon as he's done stabbing the ground, you can then go back in to get some hits. If we replay that, you can see as soon as he summons the walls, I recognize where the walls are, and then I go to the side of Celestial Champion that doesn't have any walls so that I can run away from his incoming spin attack. There was a generic melee attack. It is kind of fast, so it's kind of hard to dodge, but just react to it as fast as you can. And then we're back to spinning. Replaying that attack, what you can see is the Celestial Champion slams the floor 3 times in your direction, and every time he slams the ground, he summons a row of Gestolts. Now you can dodge between the Gestolts, but it's very hard, so I would recommend going out from Celestial Champion and then rotating halfway around him to avoid all of the Gestolts, then go back in and attack. Now in this example, I messed up and got hit because there were trees in the way, so let me just go on a test route and I'll show you how it's meant to be done. In a second, so I'm gonna unequip it. But it's just, as long as you always have an extra log suit, then you're fine. Oops. So as you can see, the pattern of his attacks can be consistent, but it heavily depends on how far you kite away, because if you kite away for too long and you miss the trigger to trigger his wall attack, then his wall attack will get put behind and some other attack, so the pattern gets changed. What's on screen is the general pattern, but it depends how you execute the fight, and that will influence the pattern. If you've noticed he hasn't done an attack in a while, that one's probably coming next. Luckily, all of the attacks have somewhat long starting animations, so you can tell what's coming before it actually comes. Otherwise, whenever he does the wall attack, make sure you have a clear path out of the walls in a straight line. So now let's skip to phase 3. This will be interesting. I have 1.5 log suits and 1.5 crowns. Now crowns aren't necessary here, but like I was low on armor, so I just pulled out my crowns. Again, we're gonna watch until we see all of Celestial Champion's attacks, and then we're gonna explain what they are. grab the weather pane. Okay, so let's start with this pillar attack. This is where Celestial Champion will summon a bunch of glass pillars from the sky. These pillars will only be active for about half the time they're on the field. You can see right now they're emanating a little like glow around them. If you stay inside that glow, it makes you drowsy and eventually will put you to sleep if you stay in it for too long. You can use a weather pane to get rid of them, the ones that are close to Celestial Champion, so you can get close enough to attack. Or you can bait out one of Celestial Champion's next laser attacks to destroy them for you. So Celestial Champion actually has two different laser attacks, and you can tell them apart. The way in which Celestial Champion turns or moves its head can show you which laser attack he's about to do. So for the laser attack where he hits horizontally, he kind of sweeps his head to the side, then turns it back toward you. And the way to dodge this laser is simply step back a little bit. The time in which you need to step back is right before he fires out the laser, because Celestial Champion targets you with his laser right before he fires it out, so you can't move too early. Now here's the second laser attack. You see the difference? On the left laser attack, he sweeps it to the left, but on the right laser attack, he sweeps backwards and then pushes it out forward, and you can see the lasers coming out differently. Now to dodge this second laser attack, you have to step diagonally away. You might be thinking, I don't wanna have to think about which laser he's doing, then dodge. Luckily for you, if you step diagonally for either of the lasers, that also dodges both of them. Okay, very cool. Back to the fight. That right there, it was a melee attack. He plunges into the floor and can hit twice. So you just need to dodge and then go back in and start attacking. Now this is potentially the most deadly attack. It looks like a melee attack at first, but what you need to pay attention to are the blue circles around the Celestial Champion. If you see this attack, you need to book it away from Celestial Champion and get outside of the circle of blue circles. Damn, that's a lot of circles. Yeah, once you step outside it, he'll stop doing the attack. Now let me show you why you want to escape the blue circle attack. This is what happens if you stay inside it. That might not have looked so bad because I had a full sight crown on, but it did knock out over 60% of my crown just from a few hits. 3 hits in fact. Now let's do it again without armor. Yeah, I got 1 hit. Greater Gestolts do 180 damage when they hit you. Now let's analyze what's actually happening during this attack. As soon as Celestial Champion plunges into the ground, a bunch of normal and Greater Gestolts will spawn and try to attack you. If you're not moving, they'll hit you, but if you're moving at a decent speed, they'll probably miss you. The amount of Greater Gestolts and normal Gestolts that spawn are random, so you could get hit by 3 Greater Gestolts before a normal Gestolt hits you. This is important. Normal Gestolts only add drowsiness to you and will eventually put you to sleep, whereas Greater Gestolts just do tons of damage. So if you have no armor and you get lucky and get hit by 4 normal Gestolts, you'll go to sleep, and when you're asleep, the Gestolts can't hit you. And once there's no one who is awake inside of the blue circle attack, he will stop doing the blue circle attack. I need to get good, I'm gonna run out of armor. So now that we've watched all of his attacks again, we now understand what everything does. So now we're going to skip to the end where Phase 3 Celestial Champion dies. There's no escape from Wilson P. Higgsbury. Once you kill Celestial Champion, Wagstaff will steal the power from within, and then you can mine the Celestial Champion to get all the stuff. Now the most noteworthy drops are all of the moon shards you get. You get so much moon glass and the crown. Moon glass! The reason why the crown is so good, because normally, normal Gestolts, wild Gestolts, will hit you and make you drowsy. But while you're wearing the crown, they will not aggro onto you. But Celestial Champion's own Gestolts that he summons will still attack you. But this means we don't have to lower our sanity anymore, because the crown makes us immune to all of the things that low sanity gets rid of. There's also 3 other massive reasons why this crown is so good. 1, it gives you a massive sanity aura, which is plus 10 sanity every minute. It also puts a radius of light around you while you have more than 85% of your max sanity. And last but not least, actually probably the biggest reason to get this crown, every time you do an attack, it will drain 1 sanity and fire out a Gestolt, which does 42.5 damage to whatever you're attacking. Every attack. This almost doubles Wilson's damage output, assuming all of the Gestolts hit, because they can miss if the target moves. The downside is, these Gestolt attacks only happen while you're above 85% sanity. Celestial Champion has a massive positive sanity aura, so we're always going to be above 85% sanity. So how about we kill Celestial Champion, let's say 2 more times? Back at it again. Don't tell anyone. So we've seen the Moonstorm events. Yeah, I did a whole lot more of them. And then we're going to go to our Lureplant farm that I forgot I made. So as soon as you go down to the caves, everything will load in, so the eye bulbs will start eating the grass and saplings. It doesn't eat all of them, but it's good enough. Make sure not to pick the grass yourself, otherwise your grass might turn into grass geckos. When the Lureplant picks it, it won't turn into grass geckos. Now, using that whole ton of moon glass, we're going to make loads of glass cutters. You can now craft the Celestial Orb, by the way, once you kill Celestial Champion. So now, we can just use glass cutters. Although it's spring and it was raining, so Celestial Champion will be wet, so I'm going to be using Morning Star for the second fight. Now, I'm briefly going to just talk about my gear setup here. The only difference is I'm not using any head armor. I'm just going to be camping the crown the entire time and just using log suits as armor. Make sure you always have spare armor, so in this case spare log suits in your inventory, so that if one breaks, you'll auto-equip the next one. My gosh, this DPS is insane. I just did like 2,000 damage. Yo, he gets stunned for so long because he gets staggered every time he gets hit by a Gestolt as well. That's actually kind of nuts. Oh wait, come over here. No, I was meant to kill him over here, I just realized. The reason why I wanted to kill him over there is because that's where the triangular celestial fissures were, so it'd be easier to put the altar pieces back. But because he died a little bit far away, I have to use the beefalo to put all the pieces back and plug them all back in. Ready. This is what we've been working towards. Woohoo! 5 entire shards. Hell yeah. Let me just plug them in there. Bam! An infinite light has been acquired. I didn't test if these Glowcap placements will work, but hopefully they work. So the reason why we're killing Celestial Champion 2 more times is to get more crowns to deconstruct them to get these shards. If you put one of these shards in a mushlight or a Glowcap, it makes that Glowcap shine at max brightness forever. So yeah, infinite light on your base. In this Celestial Champion fight, it started raining a whole lot, so I had to tactically swap between the Eyebrower and the Crown, because being immune to Gestolts is pretty essential in this fight. Woohoo, look how close I am! The Crown's damage is super noticeable on like Wilson and Wendy. Everyone with like normal damage modifiers or no damage modifier. Gestolt. Aha! Thank you, Celestial Champion. Yeah! And now I have infinite glass cutters. Boom. Oh, I've just pogged so hard. Holy moly. No way. We got all of the Glowcaps filled. Very cool. And we have 2 left over. Wow. It's so beautiful. Look, it uncovers it. Everything's lit up. Oh my goodness. It's so good. Even the entire farm plot is lit up. Wow. These Glowcap paste spoons are perfect. Wow. Amazing. Let's go over here now. Wow. Look. It's all lit up perfectly. I can see everything. It's so beautiful. Alright, nice. Alright, we collected a cooking cactus. You wanna know why? Because we're missing one boss. Do you know who it is? Oh no, guess. Make my babies into pierogies. I'm sorry, toolbird babies. Then I searched for so many days to find the last tentacle pillar in the caves to find ancient Fuelweaver. Let's hope the internet doesn't cut out. Alright, okay, so this is triple bishops. I guess the Fuelweaver's probably back there, and Spider's there, so I'm gonna go to the right. While going through the atrium, you'll see these pillars. Some of these pillars require you to be sane and insane. And so to get through the insane pillars, you have to put on the Nightmare Amulet, wait for about a second, then pick up your backpack and walk through before they come back up. And you can walk on the edge of the spider webs to not aggro the spiders. Hey, well, it was not this way. So if you, with this double or can you go down? You can just hoopity scoop around the edge. And look at that, magic. Is what we were looking for. Now it's time to prep. I'm going to list out everything you need and you're just going to have to look at my inventory. But before we can start the fight against the ancient Fuelweaver, we have to build his skeleton. Now that was the incorrect skeleton. That is what the correct skeleton looks like. If you get any other skeleton, hammer it and rebuild it until you get this one. Now I'm going to be describing and explaining this fight as we go. So once we find a new attack, we'll watch it, see what it does, then replay it and I'll explain what his attack does. Okay? Okay. This was just a generic melee attack. It hits for 100 damage and its area effect in front of Fuelweaver. We're always going to want to dodge this, except for later when we don't want to dodge this. Wait, he trapped me already? Now, Fuelweaver shouldn't have done this attack so early, I don't know why he did, but he does do this attack during his phase 1. This is a snare attack where he traps you in a snare of bones. You can either telepoof out of it, or to save on lazy explorer uses, I choose to put on a full sight suit, tank 2 melee hits, and then the bones will fade away, and then you can run away and start kiting again. It's worth noting that if you're too close to him when he slams his hand onto the ground, you do take damage from that. That's why I walk away from him sometimes. I'm also switching between the Bee Queen Crown and the Enlightened Crown. I'd recommend just not doing this. Just stick to the Bee Queen Crown until it breaks. The Bee Queen Crown inverts sanity auras, and Fuelweaver has a massive sanity aura of minus 400 per minute when you're right on top of him. So the idea is you get right on top of Fuelweaver when you're tanking, put the Bee Queen Crown on, and you'll restore a lot of sanity. When you're not standing right on top of Fuelweaver, his sanity aura is drastically less than 400 per minute. Wait, why are you trapping me? Why aren't you doing other attacks? Why isn't he doing other attacks? Okay, fine. That was really weird. I don't know why he started with a double trap attack. This attack has 3 instances that can hit you. When he slams the floor with his hands, he can hit you. Then he summons a spiral of bones. If you're under these bones when they land, they'll hit you. You see the red circle on the floor in the arena? If you're outside of this circle, he doesn't do this bone falling from the ceiling attack, and instead he'll just spam the bone snare attack, which is the attack we saw before. Okay, we've just entered phase 2. Phase 2 is when Fuelweaver drops below 10,000 health. Now this attack we just saw where he gets on his hands and starts screaming, he's summoning Shadow Hands. These Shadow Hands give Fuelweaver an invulnerability shield. You can't damage him while the hands are up. And to kill the hands, they only have 1 HP, but you can only attack them if you're insane. This is why we have a Nightmare Amulet. So the idea is you'll go around the arena, put the Nightmare Amulet on for half a second, hit the Shadow Hand, and then put on something else like the Magiluminescence to move to the next hand. There are multiple hands around the entire arena that you have to break. You thought that was the only new attack for phase 2? No. He also summons healers now. This is what this attack is. These healers spawn within the red circle in the arena. For this reason, you can find it easier to lure Fuelweaver to the corner of the arena so that most of the minions have to go really far to get to Fuelweaver. Once the healers get close enough to Fuelweaver, he'll bend down and try to eat them. These healers only have 1 HP, but there are a lot of them, so you can either run around hitting them, which is what I do until there's a minion right on top of Fuelweaver or a lot of minions, too many, at which point I cast a Weather Pane on Fuelweaver, since a Weather Pane hits like everything in a small area, so it'll pop all of the minions. He healed through the Weather Pane. Now at this point, his healing and shield attack are on cooldown, so I want to get as much damage in as possible. That's why I'm tanking with a full sight suit, and I'm just healing through the pain, because kiting means I can get less attacks in, which is no good. Here you can see, even though it would trap myself, I used a Weather Pane on Fuelweaver. That's because there was 2 minions right beneath Fuelweaver, meaning as soon as he bent down he would have eaten them, and I wouldn't have had time to actually hit them. So I just wanted to explain why we did that. Oh, talk to. Hello. Oh no, Antlion's attacking. Right there, he did the eating animation and sound effect, but my Weather Pane hit the minion just in time, so the minion died before Fuelweaver finished eating it. Which means you cancelled the heal, so good job. What unfortunate timing. Yes, land on Fuelweaver. Very good. So just there, I'm looking at my sanity and I want to restore it faster with the Bee Queen Crown, so I scoot my character forward so that I'm standing as close as possible to Fuelweaver to get the maximum sanity aura from the Bee Queen Crown. Right here I got kind of lucky. There's a reason why I said you should only flick your Nightmare Amulet on for half a second, because if you leave it on for too long and there's a shadow creature roaming around, if they see that you're insane, they might aggro onto you. Once a shadow creature aggroes onto you, it's kind of inconsistent for them to de-aggro you even if you're completely sane. They won't aggro onto you for having the Nightmare Amulet on for half a second. Oh, I was meant to hit the hand. This attack didn't go through, it failed, because what it does is when you're insane, he'll start this attack, and if you're insane by the end of the attack, it immobilizes you for like 6 seconds, so you'll just stand there doing nothing, you can't eat anything, you can't move. The only reason that attack triggered is because I had my Nightmare Amulet on, so it's completely safe, just make sure you're not insane before the attack finishes. Your sanity gets bottomed out like way too fast. Oh, 10 HP. You got lucky, Fuelweaver. You got lucky. Yeah, the crown, you do a lot of deep spell. I don't know if it's worth it, because it takes so much time to get your sanity back up. Goodbye, Fuelweaver. I'm gonna kill you via Gestalt. The moon will take you. Punch. Oh, dang it, I finished him via punch, not by Gestalt. Oh well. Very cool. We did it, boys. Tanking Fuelweaver is legit. Like, it makes it so much easier. Anyway, grab your loot and make your way back through the Atrium. Hi, Hutch gave me time. So you can just hide behind Hutch and some of the tentacles will hit you. So if you hide in front of him like this, any tentacle that spawns behind will target Hutch, not you, because it's closer to them. Every boss is here, right? Got the shadow pieces, Deerclops, Bearger, Goose, Dragonfly, Ancient Guardian, Toadstool, Bee Queen, Klaus, Antlion, Fuelweaver, Malbatross, Crab King, Celestial Champion, Eye of Terror, Twins of Terror. That's everyone, right? I'm pretty sure. Using your pigs as hound defense, pretty effective because pigs are aggressive towards hounds. Go my piggy army. Verdant Wilson. All of this to become Verdant Wilson. As soon as he makes a sinkhole, after he's broken it, just stay on this sinkhole and he can't sinkhole on top of another sinkhole. Berry bushes. I think we're done. That is it. Let me take this off to get a view of the bases at night. There's no light source other than the Glowcaps. Wow, it looks so pretty. Wow. And we got stuff on the chests here to mark what's in them. This is cold thermal stones. This is warm thermal stones and star coolers and moon coolers. Then we got light, then weapons, head armor, body armor, a wardrobe and chester, a rainometer with an umbrella in it, seeds, hunger food, healing food, sanity food. Wow. And then we go over here and bam, all lit up. Ignore that grass. Berry bushes, stone fruit bushes, and I don't like stone fruit bushes, so I'm not going to use them. I didn't complete the pigs yet, but I can't bother. You could put more pig houses here. Wow. The bases. It's so beautiful. Thank you very much for watching the expert/advanced guide. This has been a long awaited guide. This video is by far the longest one. The Don't Starve video to take to make. I'm currently recording this about 30 hours before I'm getting on a plane to go to a different continent. That's fun, isn't it? I did this with Wilson. You can do this with any character you want. Make sure to comment any tips for other players in case I left something out. Everything I've gone through over this guide was all very brief because if I went in depth on everything, this guide would be like 5 hours long. So anyway, thank you again for watching. And we have 10 giveaway winners from our last video who are on the screen now. So check if your name's there. If it is, then join my Discord and message me on Discord and I'll get you sorted with your prize. Thank you again for watching this video. Give it a like, give it a comment, give it a share with your friends, and I will see you in like a month because I'm going to America.